did it. I'ma tell him I rose up. I'm a survivor. Fight for my life. I'ma get stronger. I will rise. I'm a survivor. Fight for my life. I'ma get stronger.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to go through my very early championship predictions for the 2024-25 season. Before we get to the predictions guys, please be sure to hit the like button. Let's go for 115 likes on today's video. I know you all can do it, so please be sure to smash the like button. And also please click the subscribe button. It really helps. We're on the road to 50 subscribers, currently at 32, so we're nearly there. So please hit the subscribe button, it really helps. So yeah, let's get straight into predictions. Okay, so this time we've got 6 tiers on this tier list. We've got the 3 relegated teams from 24th to 22nd. We've got the surviving teams from 21st to 18th. They said 28th then, my god. From 21st to 18th, so the teams just surviving relegation. We've got the mid-table teams from 17th to 14th, so only a couple go on this tier. We've also got the top half teams from 13th to 7th. We've got the 4 playoffs, 4 teams that make the playoffs, and we've also got the 2 automatic promotions. Okay, so this season, the Championship season and the Premier League season are probably the most difficult ones to predict for me. The other ones, League 1, League 2 and the National League, are pretty much self-explanatory, if that makes sense. You can sort of tell who's going to win, who's probably going to get relegated. But when it comes to Championship and the Premier League next season, it's going to be so hard to tell who gets relegated. But I'm going to try my very best to tell you who my predictions are. So, coming in at 24th place, I've gone with Oxford United. The League 1 playoff winners. I feel like because Oxford United haven't been in this league for nearly over 20 years, I think that Oxford are going to struggle a little bit, because obviously it's like a brand new kettle of fish. It's a whole different kettle of fish when it comes to the Championship. So many tough teams in here, so many teams that want to do well. And so I'm not saying that Oxford won't give this league a good go, because I think they will. I think Oxford, because they obviously haven't been in this league for just over 20 years, I feel like they're going to give this league a very good go and see how high they can place. Oxford's main aim for next season is just to survive relegation, but I feel like they're not going to do it. If I'm being honest, I feel like they're going to struggle a little bit too much and get relegated. So Oxford United fans, I'm sorry, but when it comes to football, you have to choose relegated teams. Teams have to get relegated. So yeah, 24th place for Oxford for me. What do you guys think on that one? 23rd place, I'll go with Plymouth Argyle. Getting there. Now the thing with Plymouth is I really want them to stay up. I really do. I really want to see Plymouth start to kick on now a little bit and become more of a Championship team than a yo-yo club when it comes to the Championship and League 1. But I feel like the appointment of Wayne Rooney has messed that up. It's ruined that a little bit. Because, don't get me wrong, I love Wayne Rooney. I think he's an amazing player. He's an amazing person. When it comes to managing a club, it seems to not go very well for him. You know, you've seen he's relegated Derby. He went over to the American League, I think. And he placed mid-table with a team over there, which is okay. But then he took over from Birmingham, who was in 6th, and ever since he joined and took over Birmingham just slid all the way down the table, and look at where Birmingham are now. They're now in League 1. They got relegated. So, yeah, it's not going well for Wayne Rooney when it comes to managerial stuff. and I feel like Plymouth are going to suffer that sort of effect as well. I feel like Plymouth are going to get relegated. Yeah, 23rd place for Plymouth for me. What do you guys think on that one? But I would really love to see Plymouth stay up. Yeah, that's my 23rd place. So Plymouth 23rd. From 22nd all the way to 10th. That's probably the hardest relegation spot to pick, because literally any one of these teams could get relegated. So in 22nd place, just for now, it could change. I've gone with Stoke. Now with Stoke, we saw last season they were struggling a little bit. It was weird though, because they had a very good transfer window, but for some reason something just didn't click, did it? And they just were stuck in mid-table, between mid-table and relegation zone. They even dropped into the bottom three at some point, which was very bizarre. You don't really see that from Stoke too often. But I feel like next season Stoke are going to struggle just a little bit again, but next season get caught in it. Like I said, from 22nd all the way to 10th, it was a very difficult choice. Because literally any one of these can survive, any one of these can get relegated. So yeah, Stoke fans, you might not be there for long. I might move you up a bit. But yeah, 22nd for Stoke for me at the moment. What do you guys think on that one? 21st place, just surviving. I've gone with Queen's Park Rangers. I think I've put these guys a bit too low though, just like Stoke. But you know, Queen's Park Rangers had a slow start last season under Gareth Ainsworth. A lot of people at the start of the season predicted them to go down. I think I was one of them, I can't remember. But they were having a rough spell at some point. They started off poorly at the start of the season. But ever since their new manager came in, I can't remember his name. Please, guys, if you know what QPR's manager is called, then please let me know down in the comments below. But ever since their new manager came in, they've been doing quite well. They picked up more wins. Obviously, towards the end of the season, they picked up some very good results, like that 4-0 win over Leeds. Like, who saw that coming? I definitely didn't. But yeah, 21st place for Queen's Park Rangers for me. I think they're going to have like a little bit of a steady season, but just survive relegation. What do you guys think on that one? 20th place, and I really want these guys to do well. I think they need to start pushing back to the Premier League now. I've gone with Blackburn. It's weird seeing Blackburn struggle this much now, isn't it? Because they are a team that's used to being in the Premier League, and that they're a team that's used to be doing that, are used to do really well. Blackburn, I feel like last season they were struggling a lot, and we all saw that. I know, like, at some point in that season they had a little bit of a good spell. They were grinding out some good results. Then I feel like ever since Saints beat them 4-0, their form sort of dropped a little bit, and then all of a sudden they just kept dropping down the table. And they were very nearly relegated. It was literally the last day of the season where they survived. But I feel like Blackburn are sensible. I feel like these guys know how to survive relegations in Championship. So yeah, 20th place for Blackburn for me, just surviving. What do you guys think on that one? 19th place, I think it's a little bit of a drop off, but you know, it's still yet early in the season. I'll go with Bristol City. These guys, just like Birmingham, who just got relegated, have now become like a veteran in the Championship. They are well known to be in this league now, and they are very well known to be between the top half and the surviving category. They've been doing really well recently. Obviously, as a Saints fan, they broke our unbeaten record, which is a score that no one saw coming. Not even including me. I will admit that I didn't see that result coming. I thought we would beat them like 3-1. But hey, this is football. This is why we love football. Anything can happen. Yeah, I feel like Bristol City are just gonna have a little bit of a poor season. You see that from teams nowadays, where a team has a good finish, in a season, and then the season after they have a really poor season. Like you saw it with Blackburn Rovers, they were in playoff positions, not last season but the season before. But then last season they had a struggle, they had a bit of a struggle. So I feel like Bristol City is going to have one of those seasons where they did really well last season, but next season they're going to have a little bit of a poor season. So yeah, 19th place for Bristol City for me. What do you guys think on that one? 18th place, I've gone with Pompey. Now, as a Saints fan, obviously, lots of Saints fans would love to see Pompey go down. But I just have a feeling that Portsmouth won't go down, if that makes sense. I feel like Portsmouth are going to have a good season. I feel like they're going to try and do as well as they can. Obviously, Pompey's main aim for next season is to stay up in the division. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did even better than 18th, if that makes sense. I think Pompey, even as a Saints fan, we know how strong of a team Pompey can be. But I feel like Pompey are going to have a decent season and just survive in 18th place. What do you guys think on that one? Okay, mid-table teams now. 17th are going with Swansea. Last season they had a little bit of a slow, steady season, if that makes sense. They had a few good results. They grinded out a few good draws. But then obviously, who remembers they ate a 5-0 defeat against Saints. They ate a few heavy defeats as well last season. But I think Swansea are a team that know how to stay up. They know how to grind out good points. And so I feel like Swansea are just going to have a good steady season again next season. So 17th for Swansea. What do you guys think on that one? 16th place, I've gone with their rivals Cardiff. I think a lot of people like to put the Welsh teams together because that's where they're mostly seen. At the end of each season, they're usually seen a place like right next to each other or something. So Cardiff City, I feel like last season they had a very good season. Obviously they had a few spells where they were in the playoff area. I feel like Cardiff are just going to have a little bit of a drop off but still have a very good season. So yeah, 16th place for Cardiff for me. What do you guys think on that one? 15th place having a little bit of a drop off again. I've gone with Preston. I think Preston are a team that's well established in this league now. They have been for quite a while. Preston, I believe, were the first ever Premier League winners, not of the Premier League but of the First Division. Out of everybody, they were the first ones to win a top division, and twice as well. They won it back to back, which is very good for them. But I feel like Preston, because they're a well-established team to the Championship now, I feel like these guys know how to stay up. They know how to grind up good points, and so I feel like they're going to have a decent season and finish in 15th place. What do you guys think on that one? 14th place, I've gone with Millwall. Millwall are a solid club, aren't they? Obviously, last season they had a little bit of a struggle. They had spells where they were in the bottom three, but then on the day where they faced us, Saints, they brought in a new manager, and ever since they beat us, they had a very good run and they grinded out some very good results. So I feel like Millwall, if they keep their manager like they have now, they're going to do really well. So yeah, 14th place for Millwall for me. What do you guys think on that one? 13th place, I've gone with Hull City. Now I know this is a little bit of a drop off again, but I feel like Hull, I think it was very silly of them to sack Liam Rosenior. Like, yes, he didn't get Hull into the playoffs, but he still had a very solid season. You know, they beat Saints, they were the first team to beat Leicester last season. They had some very good matches against Ipswich, possibly Leeds as well. They had some very good matches where they grinded out some very good results. I just don't get the sacking of Liam Rosenior. I think they should have kept him. because I feel like eventually Liam Rosenior would have gotten Hull into the playoffs. Granted, they did buy a lot of players on loan, like Fabio Carvalho. They had players like Philogene, Liam Delap, who were doing really well for them. And with players like that, you would expect them to at least get like 6 or something. But they did have 6 tough teams that they were going up against, like Norwich, West Brom, Southampton, Leeds, Leicester, and Ipswich. All 6 of those teams were also doing really well, so it's really hard to keep up and get into the playoff positions when the 6 teams above you are also doing really well. So I feel like Hull, with a new manager, they're going to have a little bit of a slow start and finish in 13th. So yeah, still top half of the table, still really good, but I feel like 13th place for Hull. What do you guys think on that one? 12th place, I'm going with Sheffield Wednesday. Now, I like Sheffield Wednesday. I think they're a good club. Obviously, last season they had one of the best survivals of all time. They were in the bottom 3 for pretty much the entire season, all the way up until like the final few weeks of the season. And I feel like that was a very good story for them. That story will literally live on for quite a while. I feel like Sheffield Wednesday bringing in a manager who used to be a coach under Hasenhüttl when he was in charge of Saints. Ever since he's come in, Sheffield Wednesday have been doing really well and they've been grinding out some good results. And I feel like Sheffield Wednesday are going to do the same next season and do really well. So 12th place for Sheffield Wednesday for me. What do you guys think on that one? 11th, I've gone with Watford. This team has become quite stale in the Championship now. Obviously, they are still a solid outfit. They know how to grind out some good results. But ever since they got relegated, people expected them to finish in the top 2 or the playoffs. But for some reason, something just didn't click and they finished mid-table. And the same happened again last season where they had a little bit of a slow start and they finished mid-table again. So Watford have dropped off a little bit for me, but 11th place is still a good position. You know, it's still top half. I do like Watford. I think they're a good club, but obviously we all know them now for managerial changes. They're very good at doing those. But yeah, 11th place for Watford for me. What do you guys think on that one? Now 10th place will probably shock a lot of you guys. I've gone with Derby. Now, the reason why I've gone with Derby to finish 10th, they just came up from the League One, but we've seen over the past few seasons now where one team from that just come up from League One always seem to do really well. And, you know, we saw that with Sunderland. You know, they came up from League One and got straight into the playoffs. Unfortunately for Sunderland, they lost in the playoffs, but they still managed to get all the way up there, which is really good. And obviously last season we saw that from Ipswich. Literally nobody predicted them to finish second. I'm 100% sure of that. No one's predicted them to finish second, and Ipswich came up in second place from the League One, and then they finished in second in the Championship. So Ipswich just showed everybody that just because you come up from League One doesn't mean that you can't do really well. And I just feel like next season, Derby is going to be that team that does really well. I don't know why, I just have the feeling that they're going to do it. So yeah, 10th place for Derby for me. What do you guys think of that one? 9th place, I'll go with Norwich. I feel like these guys, just like Hull, they sacked their manager, which is a really strange thing to see, because, you know, they made the playoffs. Granted, their match against Leeds wasn't very good. It was as if the Norwich players didn't really give anything in that match. They pretty much let Leeds roll right over them, which is very strange to see. Because when it comes to the playoffs, you expect all the players to be at their very best, because the playoffs, in my eyes, it's like this is like your last chance to get promoted. And so in the playoffs, you expect every single player to try and be at their best. But for some reason, in that game against Leeds, they weren't really at their best. but I still think they should have probably kept their manager, because he probably would have gotten them in the playoffs again next season, or even in automatics. But it's not to say that that they won't have a new manager bounce. But I just feel like, just like Hull, with their new manager, I feel like they're going to have a little bit of a slow, steady season. But still finish ninth in the top half. I feel like Norwich are still going to have a good season. But yeah, ninth place for Norwich for me. What do you guys think on that one? Now, 8th place I've gone with Sheffield United. This team was really, really poor last season in the Premier League. How many heavy defeats did they take, man? I felt really bad for them. Like, they had that 8-0 defeat against Newcastle. They had like a 6-0 defeat against Arsenal. Granted, it was Arsenal, but still, it was 6-0. They had a, like, was it a 5-1 or 5-0 defeat against Brighton? It was so crazy for them last season, and so they finished rock bottom with almost the worst team of the Premier League. But obviously they still managed to beat Derby's record. Well, they didn't beat Derby's record, but they had more points than what Derby had when they were in the Premier League. But Sheffield United was still really poor. I've never seen a club be that poor before. But yeah, I feel like in the Championship they're going to be like a strong outfit, but when it comes to the Championship they're going to need a little bit of recruitment. Because obviously if they keep most of those players and they play like they did last season, then they're going to miss out on the playoffs for me. And so Sheffield United for me are still going to have a very solid season, but just miss out on the playoffs. What do you guys think on that one? 7th place. Now I feel like I put these guys a bit too low. These guys might change in my official predictions, but I've gone with Coventry to finish 7th. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Coventry. I think they're probably my favourite Championship team next season. But Coventry for me seem to be a very unlucky team, if that makes sense. So like, not last season but the season before, they made the playoffs. They usually have a slow start of the season. They made the playoffs. Granted, they did get to the playoff final, but unlucky for them, they missed out and they lost in the playoff final. Then last season, they were trying to go for the playoffs again, but just fell short. And I feel like the same thing is going to happen next season. They're going to go for the playoffs, but just fall short. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be surprised if Coventry do actually make the playoffs next season, but I think Coventry are going to have a very good season, but just miss out on the playoffs. What do you guys think on that one? Okay, my playoff positions, I've gone 6th place, Sunderland. Now, with this position, I'm sort of torn between Sunderland and Coventry. Because obviously last season Sunderland had a very solid start, but as the season progressed, they sort of slipped down the table a little bit, and their form became really poor. So I feel like Sunderland need a really good bounce next season, because obviously they're a season that should be pushing for the playoffs or the automatics, getting back to the Premier League. I think Sunderland are going to have a very good transfer window and try and go for the playoffs again. And next season I think they'll eventually do it and make the playoffs. So yeah, 6th place for Sunderland for me. What do you guys think on that one? 5th place we've gone with Middlesbrough. Just like Coventry, nearly every season they have a slow start, or for the past couple of seasons they have, at least. Last season they had a poor run of form at the start of the season, but then of course Southampton went up against them and pretty much started their very good run. Middlesbrough are always a strong outfit when it comes to the Championship. They're always at least between the top half and the top 2. So Middlesbrough, I feel like they're going to have a very similar season that they do every season and finish in the top half in the playoffs. I feel like they're going to have a very solid season. So 5th place for Middlesbrough for me. What do you guys think on that one? 4th place I'm going with West Brom. Again, another solid outfit to the Championship. West Brom are a a big club, they're a strong team. We always know that they can be a strong team. I feel like West Brom are going to try and push for the playoffs and automatics again. But I feel like West Brom are going to do one better and go from 5th to 4th. So 4th place for West Brom for me. What do you guys think on that one? They're a good club. The top 3 teams can literally go in any order, but 3rd place I've gone with Burnley. I think Burnley are a very good outfit when it comes to the Championship as well. I think Burnley are a solid team. Obviously last season they had the expectation of doing really well in the Premier League, but unfortunately for them it didn't turn out that way and they ended up finishing in the bottom 3 and getting relegated. But the season before that they absolutely ran away with the league. They reached 100 points and they completely dominated the whole league. But obviously because of that lots of people expected them to do really well in the Premier League. Unfortunately for them it didn't really work that way and then obviously they got relegated. But I feel like when it comes to the Championship, Burnley will do really well. But I feel like they're going to just miss out on the automatics. I think when it comes to the playoffs here, I think my favourites are between Burnley, West Brom, Middlesbrough, Sunderland and Coventry, and probably Sheffield United and Norwich as well. So I've got 7 favourites there for the playoff winners, but I don't know who I'm going to pick yet. It's going to be very tough. But yeah, 3rd place for Burnley for me. What do you guys think on that one? 2nd place I got with Luton. Again, another club that's always preparing for some good matches. Obviously last season lots of people predicted them to finish 20th in the Premier League and expected Luton to have pretty much no chance in the Premier League. Everyone expected the Premier League to be far too much for them. But they got relegated, but they still gave every single match they had a good go, especially at home. Who remembers those good matches against the Big 6 teams? They gave the Big 6 teams a really good game. Like I believe they scored in every Big 6 game that they had when they were at home. So I feel like Luton Town are going to give everything they have in the Championship and try and get back to the Premier League, and I think they will. So yeah, 2nd place for Luton for me. What do you guys think on that one? And my Championship winner, I've gone with Leeds. Come on guys, it's Leeds. Leeds are just a very strong outfit, aren't they? They know how to win games, they know how to put on good performances. Obviously they were unlucky, they lost out to Saints in the playoff final. The playoff just doesn't seem to be Leeds' best position, does it? Because obviously they lost their last 5 or 6 games in the playoffs now. But I feel like next season Leeds are going to push really hard and go all the way to the automatic promotions and win the league. So yeah, and I feel like next season Leeds are going to have another very good unbeaten home run. That's what I'm predicting as well. So Leeds are going to have a very good home run. So yeah, Leeds are winning the league for me. What do you guys think on that one? So yeah guys, that wraps up my Championship predictions for the 2024 to 25 season. Remember that these are just early predictions, so anything can happen, really. So yeah guys, if you like this video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. Please be sure to share your thoughts and predictions down below as well. And I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye guys!